to the second episode of the Triple Threat Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am Lucky from Gym Mint 10 Sports, joined by MVP, and the third man is finally here. So we got Alexis in the house. Remember, guys, we have a lot of podcasts on this channel, so make sure you're subscribing on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music. Everywhere there's an outlet for a podcast, we're on it. Just search Gym Mint 10 Sports and, give us love on all that. So before we get started, the third man is here.
Hulk Hogan is here! Hulk Hogan's here! Hulk Hogan is in the building! You damn right he is! Go get him, Hulkster!
How are you?
The third man has arrived, gentlemen. It's officially the Triple Threat Podcast.
There we go. So, yeah, the three of us, just from me talking to Alexis, I've known Alexis probably close to 5 years now, and his knowledge runs as deep as me and you do, MVP. So it'll be a good talk show podcast. We'll have guests at some point. So, whatever you guys want to see us do, let us know in the comments so we can bring you that kind of content or whatever it is you want to see us do. We tried to do some games on here. The Guess the PPV last week. Matt did not get it, but that's okay. We'll get there. So I think tonight's going to be an easier one though. So, so what do you guys want to talk about? I guess we can start with the Raw recap. So you guys got your notes for the Monday Night Raw recap?
Sure do, buddy.
All right.
Sure do.
The show starts with Sami Zayn and Owens, their promo on Roman and Solo. What'd you guys think of that segment?
Well, I just want to make a note. When they started the promo and Sami was going off on the bloodline, you can see little instances of Kevin getting frustrated, kind of maybe teasing a heel turn. Possibly down the line.
It doesn't excite me because they've done that so many times to each other. It's like you're kind of expected it.
Exactly. You're expecting it to happen. This is they're planting the seeds.
Well, it could be a teaser. They know that we know that Kevin has turned on Sami quite a few times. Mm-hmm. So maybe they're just putting that carrot out there. Getting ready to hit us with a swerve.
Right. Well, there's a lot of things at play right now because Judgment Day comes out, right? And they say that if they win, they're first in line. So you got Judgment Day, you got the Usos, you got Roman and Solo. Later on, we'll talk about Imperium gets involved in this too. So there's so much noise. You don't know what's going to happen really with these tag titles. But it was a good promo. I thought it was a good stuff in the Judgment Day. I could see them in a good tag team title match against Zayn and Owens if they come out of
we'll see. Here's the thing. I don't like the pairing of Finn and Priest because I feel like Finn should be more of the world title main event scene. So going forward, I'd like to see more of Dom and Priest tagging, and then that way you can get a title on Dom without it feeling super forced.
Oh, dude, and he's such a heat magnet.
Oh, yeah.
Give him a world title like the tag titles, it's over. He ain't getting a word in.
They say with there's heat and then there's go away heat. He definitely doesn't have go away heat.
No go away.
People do not like that guy. He can't even get a word in on the mic.
It's they don't like him, but they'd still like to see him out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When they're walking down to the ring and Dom said he had something to say, the crowd did not let him say a word. They would not let him talk. So, but yeah, that was a good segment. And then
I compare his heat to Vicky Guerrero.
Excuse me.
I mean, she never could get a word in.
Yeah, no, she definitely didn't. So the next segment in Raw was Shinsuke Nakamura beating The Miz. I guess the only question I have is who cares? Miz has been
solid. I got solid match. I feel like it did what it needed to be done. It established Shinsuke as a major player, and Miz is at the point where he's kind of a gatekeeper, kind of you beat him. They have things for you, I guess.
I don't know. I really like this iteration of Shinsuke, and the crowd was super into it.
Yeah.
You know, they were like singing his song the whole time.
Yep.
I just love like Shinsuke Nakamura. As far as like the match, you know, the Miz, he's a great heel and everything, but I never liked the way he worked in the ring. You know, he's super super safe, which is great, but like he took
Great for longevity.
yeah, he took the Kinshasa and like he got both of his hands up and like the knee didn't even connect, and it's like
Yeah, the
you know,
believability.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
good
I mean,
match,
okay, so
decent
the
match,
Miz,
but
anytime the Miz is in a match, for me, it's like, okay, I respect what Miz did. I'd love to see him in a main event scene again, because when he had the title in like WrestleMania 27 era, Miz was on fire, dude. But
Yeah.
I mean, dude, the only match he's won this whole year is because Shane McMahon doesn't have good quadriceps, and he wins that WrestleMania match.
So,
But
so,
then he
so
loses to Snoop Dogg.
you count that win?
Well, I'm saying that's the only one he technically has, because, and he wasn't going to win that match anyway. Shane was going to beat him, but then Snoop beats him. Snoop Dogg beats him at
With
Mania.
the saddest excuse of a people's hope.
Oh yeah, dude. But I mean, kudos to Snoop for what he did during that. I mean,
Good
improvise on that.
improvisation.
Yeah. Let's see. This year, oh yeah, I wrote hobbled Shane. That's what I wrote. I said Miz won one match this year against hobbled Shane. What do you guys think of the Seth Rollins promos?
Just another, another reason why he's going to win the title.
is this the interviews that we're talking about here?
Yeah.
So I made a couple of notes on this.
Mhm,
I am
so did
really digging these old school 80s, 90s like interviews, you know, because it gives like, to me, it gives like the casual fan a little bit of a background about this guy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
People walk in, they say, who's this guy with these crazy outfits and this crazy laugh, and people are just singing their songs, you know? I really like that stuff. I just think it gives some substance to Seth, you know, and I think Corey Graves hosting it is a really nice touch.
Yeah.
I think just Corey Graves just has a real way of bringing stuff out of out of the talent.
Yeah.
But spoiler for SmackDown, they did not do the same for AJ.
No.
Which means it's quite obvious Seth is winning this championship.
Well, okay. I don't know how I feel about it. I wanted Seth to win it. I still do.
Mhm.
But why did they make this title? Because you have like Roman Reigns, who isn't going to be there all the time. We've had a history of these part-timers winning titles. Seth Rollins is on the set of Captain America New World Order, which, by the way, I'm a huge Marvel fan. So the following that Marvel movies gets, if Seth Rollins does good, more opportunities are going to come his way. So we're going to give a title to another part-timer because he's going to want time away to film these movies and whatever, right? I kind of want AJ to win it now. And not only, I mean, because I like AJ a lot. I'm an AJ mark a lot. I
Yeah,
love
me too.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see him get another meaningful run. So I guess I'll be happy either way, but I just don't know about Seth. I mean, he's getting big time now, making movies. So
Well, they're also, I think they're still trying to figure out who's going to defeat Roman.
it's gotta be, you gotta make someone now for that. This has to make, it can't be like, you know, someone that's been there, like Braun Strowman can't dethrone him, you know, like it's gotta be someone big time.
I mean, I actually thought that eventually putting Seth in that role would be awesome, like bringing it all the way back to the Shield, you know, and when he hit that chair shot to Dean Ambrose and to Roman, I just think that as far as like the storytelling, that would be just an awesome, awesome story to tell. But like talking about Seth with the title, I mean, what would be better for WWE, right? To have their Marvel, you know, their Marvel superhero wearing the that new title on the red carpet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That'd be huge for like exposure for them. So I can totally see them thinking about doing that for sure.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, Seth Rollins, I mean, he's phenomenal. He's really over. You know, he was over before, then they kind of had him in limbo. People saw Becky Lynch as more of a star than him at one point, I feel. But they gave him this role or this character, and he's kind of taken off with it. I mean, the crowd singing his, I don't know which song is better for the crowd, is his or Cody Rhodes or Shinsuke. I mean, but yeah, we'll see what happens there. So I thought Gunther made the IC belt look a little special when he kind of was saying, you know, no one here has proven themselves to me yet. I'm curious to see who's going to be my next challenger in the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
I love how he's booked, by the way. He's not like a chicken shit heel. You
No,
know,
not at all.
here, I'm a champion. I'm going to keep winning. I don't need interference, right? So I thought it made it look really special before the battle royal. What do you guys think?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I think Gunta. I love the Gunta. I really didn't really like the name when he first came out. I'm like, why did they change his name from Walter?
Yeah,
But Gunta is just really like, I don't know. I kind of latched onto that.
he ran with it.
Absolutely, and I think that shot of like him standing like on the announce
Broadcast
table
table,
with that angle of like from below looking at him, just like made him look like really really strong and
Yeah,
like really intimidating. And having those two guys on his side as a mouthpiece is great. Even though Gunther can talk a little bit, he's not one of those guys who needs a mouthpiece. But having Imperium on his side, is a nice touch. And that red jacket, whew, looking sweet on him.
mm-hmm.
yeah, he does. So the battle royal happens. Mustafa Ali wins, and I know why, because the next show is in Saudi Arabia,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see. I mean, he'll put on a good show. Mustafa Ali's a good worker. He'll put on a good show with him, but I really don't think Gunta is going to lose the title to him. I don't think so.
No, he's gonna have the title for a while.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
for sure.
I'd like to see him move into a world championship.
Eventually.
I don't want to wait like another
Eventually.
year. He's really good character mode right now. I'd like him to see him move on and try to win a world title. So
I think if he didn't have that IC title on him, he probably would have been in the running for this new title. Honestly.
I kind of, now that going back that I said, whoever beats Roman, you got to like make somebody. I'd love to see Gunther beat Roman.
That would be
would
dope.
be satisfying to me.
Two heels, though. Two heels.
That's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
That's the only problem.
It's happened before. It can happen again. The crowd still likes Gunta. Now you got me saying Gunta instead of Gunther.
Gunta.
But I don't know.
Right, so in Battle Royal, I have JD McDonough attacking Dolph Ziggler. So
nothing that ever happens to Dolph Ziggler will make him look relevant. Sorry.
Well, all right. He's become a gatekeeper wrestler now too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is JD McDonough's push on the main roster now.
Well, now there's some interesting. He cuts a promo. That's the next thing I have here. He cuts a promo about Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
In the background, if you pay attention, Finn Balor was back there.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's a little hint that
Finn's the guy that actually trained
right.
JD. So
it'd be nice to have him maybe join the Judgment Day, but I don't know. We'll see.
Well, or replace Finn.
True, but then the
'Cause he-
Judgment Day, you keep replacing the leader, Edge, then Finn, then JD.
Well, so resident NXT guy here, JD McDonough, he's pretty sinister. Finn, he's always gonna be that cool hand Luke, I'm so cool guy. He's doing okay with his heel turn, but I don't think he could ramp it up to where like JD McDonough can.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think no one can look at Finn and be like, oh, I absolutely hate that guy.
I think with Finn, I kind of agree with you guys. Like his heel turn is okay, but for me, it's really hard for me to buy him as a heel.
Yeah.
Because I always remember that intro music that he had, and then the whole crowd lifting up their arms with him.
Yeah.
And whenever I see Finn, that's what I see. So it's really hard. He's doing a great job. Don't get me wrong. And his Bullet Club work in like New Japan as a heel was really good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just kind of hard for me. So I think
I don't see him as a natural heel. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's not like a natural heel for sure.
Yeah. So and then
Rhea Ripley might be the leader of that thing. Honestly, I mean,
Mommy.
if you really think about
Mommy.
it, mommy. Oh
Mommy.
yeah.
She, because anytime something threatening happened, she stepped in. I guess spoiler for this episode too. She got in Kevin Owens' way, didn't she? Because he was gonna punch Dom, and she stood right there like, "Hey, all right." Like, kind of reminds me of the China days when China was like the backup, like for
The
her guy.
enforcer for sure.
Yeah. Cody Rhodes, strong promo. and Brock Lesnar.
Before you move on, I also had Gunta teasing a feud with Matt Riddle.
Oh,
With Matt Riddle.
Okay.
Because Imperium actually had made sure he was eliminated.
Oh yeah, in the Battle Royal.
Yeah,
For sure.
so
I wouldn't mind to
Yeah.
see Riddle go after the IC title.
And like Riddle's legit too. You know, like a legit MMA guy. You know, that'd be a hard hitting match. For sure.
Since he came back, do you think they were kind of spinning their wheels with him in hopes Randy Orton would come back? Because now I'm reading reports that Randy may not even come back. Like his injuries are well,
Yeah.
and his dad has said stuff before, like to
Here. No, here. I wouldn't buy into any of that. I think they want you to think that Randy won't return, and then he has this grand return, and it's awesome, and everyone's cheering. I think they want that, but I wouldn't put any.
Honestly, I would love it if Legend Killer Randy Orton comes back and beats Roman. The Legend Killer.
Ooh.
Fun fact: so I'm playing
That would be
WWE
dope.
2K23, and in my universe mode, I've went through like 4 years, and I have Roman retain every pay per view because I'm like, I don't know who I want to beat him in this universe. I had Randy Orton beat him. Finally,
Dude, Randy's
you know what?
just.
Randy Orton's gonna take him out.
Dude,
I mean,
imagine him just coming out of nowhere. No one says nothing. He just RKO's Roman out of nowhere while he's cutting a promo. That would be sick.
yeah, because by that time, I mean Roman may be all on his own. We'll get to that on SmackDown, but Roman, I think the bloodline is a short fuse right now. But yeah, back to Raw. So Cody strong promo. Cody Rhodes had a good promo on Brock Lesnar.
I mean, can you really say he's had a weak promo?
True. But like the way he articulated it, it was like he told the story about I think it was the scorpion and the frog, and then pretty much said like you used to be the next big thing, but now you're just
in my way.
You're in my way. Like you're just what did he say? He ended it with you're just the next thing or something. You didn't say the next
wait, what happens when you're just next?
Oh yeah. That's right. So yeah, that was good. Raquel Rodriguez gets beat up by Rousey and Baszler after that.
I don't know. You know,
Rousey is falling off.
Oh, right. So when Rousey kicked Raquel, she almost broke her stuff again.
Yeah.
Rousey's pretty stiff for sure. Mm-hmm. Her and Baszler are both pretty stiff in there. That knee that Baszler gave Raquel, like I even have that in my notes. I was like, ouch.
Yeah.
Like that looked legit. You know?
Yeah, I'm not intrigued by anything by Ronda Rousey. For me is just a big name.
Yeah, she should have been. In my opinion, she should have kind of been held as like an attraction because that's what she
like
is.
Like a Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, you don't put her out there every week. You know, you put her out there every other week or once a month, or you do a vignette or something with, and then you put her on the big pay-per-views. You know, once they started bringing her back like every week, and she needed a mouthpiece, is what she needed. She needed a mouthpiece. I always thought that she needed a mouthpiece. They never put one on her.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen with these tag titles because with Liv getting injured now, it's like, well, who's it going to be?
Well, they relinquished them. Spoiler for SmackDown.
Spoiler.
Yeah, right.
They're relinquished. So I guess Raw on the 29th.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah, they're going to do a fatal 4-way to decide that title. So, and then the main event, Judgment Day beat Zayn and Owens with Imperium getting involved. Heyman on the phone, being, how he is. But it was good. I mean, that showed right there in the main event. You have 3 different tag teams involved in this picture. Like, plus you got the threat of Roman and Solo or the Usos. Like, I like the things they're doing with the tag titles. It seems important to me. Like, they seem main event level. They're not like throwaway titles like they used to be,
Agree 100%. And I like that Judgment Day is finally getting some momentum because they've been taking a lot of L's.
Yeah.
Priest lost. I mean, Mommy's been winning, but as far as like the guys, they've all been taking L's for a while.
Well,
Dominic Mysterio.
Dom beat Xavier.
For the second time.
Like, Demon Finn lost.
But that was Edge and a Hell in a Cell. Like,
yeah, right. Then Priest, of course, lost to Bad Bunny. Shout out to Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny did his thing.
Yeah. That was an awesome match, and Priest did an excellent job. But I like this. I like that it's giving them some momentum. You really don't like to see the champions lose, but it's a non-title match, so now they can say, "Hey, you know what? We beat you guys." So now we're in line. We're at the front of the line for these titles now.
Yeah, so we'll get to it after SmackDown because I don't know. Do you think, before we get to SmackDown, do you think Roman and Solo get these titles at Night of Champions?
No.
You don't
No,
think so?
No.
you can't. You can't put that many titles on Roman. I don't think you can. Because then where do you go? Where do you go now?
You go straight to the they're already building the Usos, more Jimmy now. You know,
Well,
against Roman.
it's gonna be the bloodline versus bloodline.
But maybe make it more important where you have the Usos win the tag titles from Roman and Solo.
I think the
Then
Usos.
Jimmy get their retribution that they're long overdue, right? And it is meaningful for them. I don't know. That's what I'm saying, bro. These tag title scene is very interesting. I don't know what's going to happen.
I see the Usos having a hand in screwing over Roman and Solo.
That's very possible.
Yeah, and I don't. And honestly, I think that storyline doesn't need any titles. You know, some storylines are just so good that doesn't need a title, and I think just Bloodline versus Bloodline just really doesn't need it, and it'll give some time for Sammy and KO to have some nice feuds with some of these tag teams. Because, like you said, the tag team scene for a long time was pretty dry, and now it just seems like it's rejuvenated.
Yeah, big time. So, all right, we'll shift gears to SmackDown. I should have turned this little bottom thing blue, shouldn't I? For
Oh yeah, for the blue brand. Baby.
So they start off the Bloodline promo with Owens and Zayn. Again, that's what I was saying, bro. There's more fuel to the Usos jump in the ring, right? And they're not supposed to. Roman, has.
You're not as good as us.
Yeah,
you're not as good as the Usos either.
But Sammy's just so good on the mic, dude. He's gold.
Yeah. I guess what's interesting for me, and I'm sure you guys have this in your notes too. So Roman goes to leave because he's mad, and he shoulder bumps Solo, and Solo kind of gives him the look like,
yep.
So I don't know what they're building to. They're like, where is Solo falling here? Is he gonna stick with his brothers at the end of the day, or is he gonna stick?
All these seeds being planted, man.
I don't know.
I know Solo. Who knows? Solo may think he's the alpha. Maybe I'm the alpha of the bloodline. I'm the young lion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just I wish they wouldn't have had Cody beat Solo, because they could have been pushing that, Solo's never been beaten. Never lost, never been beaten, you know what I mean? And I think that just would have, I don't know, just gave him a lot more momentum.
Was it a clean? I can't remember now. Was it a clean win on Solo, or was it like interference?
Yeah, it was.
It was a clean win. I think it took like 2 or 3 crossroads.
Yeah.
But it's just like, why take away that streak from him on, you could have threw anybody at Cody at that time before WrestleMania to heat him up,
Right.
But yeah, man, Solo, initially I didn't think that, I thought that they brought Solo in a little prematurely. But, man, he's winning me over here, man. He doesn't say much, and it's like when he does say something, it's important.
Well, remember, you kind of... They kind of needed to bring him prematurely because so he debuted at Clash at the Castle.
Mm-hmm.
The Usos can't travel.
Oh yeah, because there's stuff that they had going on.
Their DUIs and stuff, so they needed somebody. So who better to pull the NXT guy?
True.
Yeah. With roots with the bloodline, so
yeah.
We'll see.
And they're like shoot brothers too. Like that's his. The Usos are his real brothers.
Yeah.
When Roman goes when Roman goes away, Solo needs to be that quiet monster. Just have Heyman manage him.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to keep a bloodline after all this, but yeah, I would keep Heyman with him when Reigns goes. He'll take a leave. He'll come back with Heyman anyway. So just keep him with Solo maybe, but. Pretty Deadly beats the Brawling Brutes.
Yep.
They're not over yet on the main roster, but I think they can.
Here's a quote: hypoallergenic masculinity.
Yeah.
Is that like their thing? I didn't really watch a ton of them.
They're very androgynous.
Oh, are they androgynous like Goldust?
Yeah.
Androgynous. That's a good word there.
Yeah,
I heard they're good. You know what? They got confidence though.
They are.
That's the one thing that
really
I got
good
from them. Like they're super confident, and they look like they belong. They don't look out of place. You know what I mean? Watching them coming through backstage, they're looking confident, going through the metal detectors. It was funny. I was laughing like the metal detectors were going off, and they they didn't give a crap. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, we're walking through this.
Oh, former NXT UK tag champs, former NXT tag champs, and yeah, they're the real deal.
Yeah, for sure. Right after that, Asuka beats Zelina Vega.
Mm-hmm.
And Bianca comes out, and I don't know if Bianca was supposed to get a full face of mist again, but it looks like Asuka like kind of missed her a little bit. And I'm glad she didn't act like it blinded her.
No. If you've seen the footage, like every time it seemed to affect her. Like when the camera cut, she was actually like. But then I like the explanation that they gave about last week that Asuka was experimenting with peppers.
Oh yeah.
So that's why it burned so much.
Oh, we're gonna have different mist now. We have different colors, different flavors now, or what?
That jalapeno mist, dog.
Yep.
And then after that, then we have the Waller effect.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think of that?
Well, it's a good introduction for Grayson Waller, who will be the Miz on this brand.
Okay. Honestly, I've seen some Grayson Waller on NXT because like what I do watch in NXT, I watch the pay-per-views and stuff like that. So I've seen a lot of like the vignettes that they do for like pay-per-views. So I've seen that Waller effect, and I really liked it.
Waller can go. He can go.
I thought this one was a little weird just because he was kind of like praising AJ.
Yeah,
which I thought was a little weird.
And then he just at the end pulled the rug.
Yeah, I thought that was a little weird. And then like, doesn't he go like on Instagram Live?
No, he usually does. So maybe they bring that back in future segments.
Yeah, I think I was reading something that I think SmackDown was taped. I think they taped 2 shows. Okay, so that's probably why they didn't do the Instagram Live stuff.
Okay,
because they're traveling to Saudi.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you guys know any spoilers. I'm not gonna talk about that.
I know.
Yeah, I don't like to read spoilers, man, because like when I'm not watching like a live event, I try to stay off Instagram and Facebook because they're putting updates, and I hate to get to spoil it for me.
I just stay off social media when there's a pay-per-view I can't watch live.
For sure.
If it isn't a source, it's like my friend saying, "Oh, that's such a great match, but he should have won."
See, for me, like I try to avoid spoilers. I'm a little bit different than you guys. So, like if we're out, like me and my wife or at her family's or whatever, and I can't watch the pay-per-view, and I'm like, okay, I'll wait till I get home. But if I really can't wait, I don't mind to read the spoilers because I'm gonna appreciate it anyway. Like, it's still gonna be a good match. I'm still gonna enjoy watching it. Okay, I know the outcome, but it's okay. How many pay-per-views have I rewatched 100 times? I know the outcome. I still enjoy the match.
True.
So I don't mind spoilers much. So when I saw like SmackDown was taped, I'm like, oh, let me see what happened. So I'm not gonna talk about it though because I don't want to get us banned on our second episode for spoiling, future episodes of TV.
Yeah, for sure.
So we have LA Knight and Rick Boogs lose to the Street Profits. I seriously thought they were gonna form like the Boogie Knights. Is what I thought was gonna happen. And I'm so happy they didn't. Because LA Knight deserves more than that. He's over. Yeah, I like LA Knight.
Knight's over. They got stuff for him. People just got to be patient.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a slow burn. Yeah. With LA Knight.
But Boogs was impressive.
Yeah.
For sure. He was like curling what's the Street Profit name? Not
Dawkins.
Yeah, Dawkins. He was like curling Dawkins. I was like, man, this guy is like legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like LA Knight because I just the way he talks and I'm like, you can't have this without LA Knight. Yeah. That does. I would love to see
he's awesome on the mic. When he was in TNA. Yeah. I watched quite a bit of TNA when it was kind of doing their thing. Dude, he was a top guy there.
As Eli Drake.
Yeah, Eli Drake, he's a top guy.
Yeah.
And then you put a microphone in his hand, and I think that's why he's getting over because people are like, man, this guy, he's one of those guys that can talk people in the seats for sure. Mm-hmm. For sure. And I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do with him in the future.
I'd love to see him win like a US title. Get Theory out of it. For me, I don't like Theory. I'm not very.
I disagree with he's growing on me, man. Yeah, I don't know what it is. He's that entrance that he has.
obliterates him, and I hope Sheamus takes his title. Can't stand Austin Theory. And then they're saying, well, Cena puts over people. He put over Austin Theory. I'm like, no, he didn't. He gave him a cheap shot and beat him at WrestleMania. You beat Cena with a cheap shot. You're nothing special to me. I don't like you.
I hear you.
I'd rather see LA Knight with that title. He needs a title around him.
Yeah,
Well, that's the thing with Theory, though. If you don't like him, he's doing his job. You know, if you don't like him, he's doing his job. And I really like his entrance where they start off with the back and that camera kind of goes around him. And then, like, when he points down, you get that boom.
Yeah.
I'm really liking that.
Yeah, A-Town down.
I don't like the A-Town down with everything.
What's funny is the next note I have, by the way, Sheamus puts down Theory, and I love it. With a brogue kick.
Like, no words. He didn't say anything. He's like, oh, you're getting ready to say something? Bro.
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah, Sheamus, he's been long overdue to have some gold around his waist, too, by the way. Like, Sheamus is a workhorse. I think Matt watches it, too. You ever watch his YouTube channel with, like, the workouts?
For sure,
wrestlers? That's a pretty cool, to see how different wrestlers work out and all that, and he does
Celtic Warrior workouts?
Yeah, the Celtic Warrior workouts, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So, main event of SmackDown, the LWO beats the Usos.
They get their first win as the LWO.
Yeah, which obviously that was to fuel the Usos, with the bloodline, and the Usos look bad because they lost again. And so, I mean, it did its job. It's a good match. Anything the Usos are part of, I dig it. And, the LWO.
Also, Ray and Santos, they're no joke either.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a great tag team for sure. Like the LWO, like they really need to. They're pushing them, and I like it.
I'm really happy they didn't just ditch that after Mania.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad they stuck with it because and also for us like WCW fans, it's a cool callback, right?
Mm-hmm.
It isn't Eddie Guerrero, Conan, and Rey Mysterio, but I'll take this. What is it? Iteration?
Yeah, iteration. Oh yeah,
iteration
for sure.
So you guys can teach me English on this podcast too. We'll do a weekly word of the week or something. But no, that was it for Raw and SmackDown.
Karrion Kross.
Oh yeah,
I said on AJ.
Card.
Yep.
Yeah, which leads them to a match at SmackDown, which I won't talk about the result, but they fight at SmackDown next week.
I don't know if they ever cross paths at Impact.
I'm not sure. I don't.
Maybe AJ was gone when Killer Kross started.
Killer Kross. I think AJ was at New Japan at that time. I want to say.
Yeah. So overall, Raw and SmackDown. I felt like Matt. We talked last week because the third man wasn't here yet, but I thought that week of Raw and SmackDown was better than this week. But this week was week was still good. So
I agree. Last week was better, but I think they did a little bit more storytelling. Pushing stories forward, and sometimes you kind of got to do that. You're
going to have your story, especially with Night of Champions coming up. You got to get some interest in selling your main pay-per-view event.
Exactly.
No, any other notes you guys got on the week?
Alba Fire and Isla Dawn make their SmackDown debut.
I actually have some notes. Those two chicks, man, they look legit.
Yeah,
and then they squash an NXT tag team.
Yeah, Faraz and right?
Yeah, yep.
Now, what do you think was going to happen with them with those NXT tag championships? I like that. I like that the NXT belts are getting some shine.
So I think they're not quite sold on Alba Fire and Isla Dawn yet because I do think their spot was meant for Toxic Attraction, but they're no longer together. So they had to bring it. I mean, I still see them defending the tag titles down in NXT, so them double dipping.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm interested to see because they didn't look out of place at all.
Oh, not at all.
I think I personally think they look like they're ready, and they look like honestly they look like a monster heel tag team is what they kind of look like, which I think is what we need on SmackDown for sure.
Absolutely.
So, and this is where I'm confused too. So, like, you're supposed to really enforce this brand split, right? Raw and SmackDown. So, the women's tag titles, I guess they're just traveling tag champions. They can go to any brand.
Mm-hmm. Just kind of like the undisputed tag champs. They go to both.
Yeah. But I would love to see the tag titles. I see, that's the thing. I don't know Maybe you should just unify them and have one belt for them and have them. Because I mean, I would love to see them split up, but I don't think there's enough tag teams to really have two separate tag divisions and two brands. So I guess I answered my own question. You kind of
exactly. That's what it is. There's just not enough. And you need tag team champions like at NXT.
Yeah.
You need that down there because for a long time all they had was like the NXT Championship, and they finally did like the what do they call it now? The North American Championship. Yep. So you need some championships down there to kind of something that people are.
Did we lose you?
Your mic.
Sorry, guys. I turned the mic off. My son came over here to give me a kiss here. So, yeah.
You can't turn on your son, brother. You can't turn on the kid.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, this is once I move into my new place and I have like my memorabilia and wrestling room, that's gonna be like my media room. I'm gonna have a lock on that thing. I'm gonna put some soundproof stuff in there, so it's gonna be it's gonna be legit.
Legit. Speaking of legit, so I'm gonna save this pay-per-view game for the last thing, but I did think we all wanted to talk about just a cool little thing to see because it's the first time you guys haven't even met till like an hour ago,
right?
Yeah. We kind of see our wrestling history here and do a Mount Rushmore of wrestling. So, how do you guys want to do it? We each give one, and then two and three, or do we like?
Yeah, I think we each give one.
Four, you give four.
We each give one. I think would be good.
Okay, so I did it differently. I have two different Mount Rushmores. Okay. Now I have like my personal favorite, and I have like one for like impact on wrestling.
Okay.
All right, you give the first pick.
So
for pick like it's a draft.
Impact on wrestling. I'll go. I have Hogan.
Okay.
Yeah, Hogan's on my. I mean, he's on my Mount Rushmore for sure. Yeah. I got a little Hollywood. Hollywood Hogan right there, baby.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think you can have a Mount Rushmore honestly without Hogan. I
Not
think
at all.
Main evented the first 7 out of 8 WrestleManias, and like one of the few guys who was probably even better, like as a heel than he was as like Hulkamania. So it's kind of hard to keep Hogan off, even with his personal stuff and all the stuff that kind of happened afterwards. It's like if you want to keep it real,
which that documentary that just came out had better ratings than AEW Dynamite.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
it's interesting because I'm going to match you guys. I got Hulk Hogan on there.
All right. I mean,
now I can't stand it because I just felt like he's there because he's there, and like his name is why he's there. But then I was watching this special. It was on what is it? Peacock, the WrestleMania Rewind, and it was the first episode where they talk about WrestleMania 1, where it was Mr. T and
the tag team Roddy Piper.
Yeah. And I was watching it, and they were like talking about the little history of Hulk Hogan coming to WWE and like his impact. I'm like, dude, he's actually I can't hate on him.
No,
like he earns his. He should be on there. He should.
The first global star.
Right. I mean, like Andre was pretty global. Was a global guy. I don't know if you guys
because of his size
watched like the National Treasure, like try to find Andre's stuff. He was pretty global, but like making it to where, I mean, everybody had a Hulkamania shirt, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When that music hits, it's like, and Hogan's definitely got to be on there, man. And by the way, best wrestling boots in the business when he was a heel. When that heel Hogan, he had those wrestling boots, dude.
Those airbrush boots. Oh my goodness, they were dope.
Yeah. And I mean, him spray painting NWO on the titles. Do you know how many times I've like, even as a kid, I'm taking a shower, right? And then the condensation on the wall, I'd be like, and
did you see that? Did you see that video I sent you on Instagram?
Oh yeah.
Cleaning the counter and spraying NWO.
Yeah. Yeah. What did it say? Like, if you're a guy and you're cleaning, you're definitely like, he's spraying like this foam cleaner and he just spray paints NWO on the counter. But all right, before we go too long, so second pick.
And Austin.
Right, go ahead. Austin.
I have Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah.
What?
So when wrestling was going down, or for WWE anyway, it was Austin that took them, like, single handedly took them and brought them back.
For sure, absolutely.
I see.
What do you think about that, Lucky?
So here's the thing about Austin. I will put him number 1 on my Mount Rushmore of entertainers in wrestling.
Okay.
He can't be on my Mount Rushmore of all my top 4 people. Is he on yours?
Well, he's on, like, for my impact.
Okay.
Impact on wrestling.
Yeah, entertaining. Yeah, I can see it. Like the impact on it.
There's no Attitude Era without Austin.
I'm just going to say he fueled the Attitude Era for sure. Is he on yours, Alexis?
He actually is on mine. I don't think you can tell the history of wrestling without. And you guys say Austin. When I think about Steve Austin, I think about Hollywood Blondes, WCW,
Brian Pillman.
Steve Austin. That's where I first seen. Yeah, that's where I first seen Steve Austin as a Hollywood Blonde. And then he became like a U.S. champ out there in WCW. He went and started doing his own thing, and then when he came to WWF, he was the enforcer for DiBiase. And that's right. Kind of like a little weird, right? But King of the Ring, man, King of the Ring '96, the Austin 316 promo. I mean, it's hard to keep Austin. I mean, honestly, I was like you, Lucky. I was like, well, you know what? He wasn't like the greatest worker in the ring, because I know you put like work rate really high on your Mount Rushmore.
I do.
But I mean, the feuds that he had with The Rock, Triple H. I mean, probably arguably the best feud of all time against Mr. McMahon and Austin. You know what I mean? It's like, you hear that glass break, you know it's on.
I definitely get it.
And to this day, that 316 shirt is the best seller ever
of all time.
All time.
I heard something. I read something. He made like $15 million like in his career just off selling
that shirt. Yeah,
shirts. Just off commissions.
That's crazy. And think about that promo, the Austin 316 promo. Is you have a born again Christian Jake the Snake Roberts, and he gets all biblical on him, like,
oh yeah,
okay, well, I see what you're doing here. So no, for my number 2 pick, it's gonna be funny if you guys have the exact same list, and then
no, I think my last 2 are going to be a lot different than the MVPs for sure, and I have a couple honorable mentions too.
Okay, my second pick, they're not in any specific order.
Okay,
I'm gonna go Ric Flair.
Okay.
He belongs there.
Okay.
I mean, his career has spanned almost 40 years, right?
Yeah.
40 something years. And now granted, half of that he's 70-year-old man, like trying to have a match. But I mean, everything he's done, like his feuds with Dusty Rhodes and Hogan and Macho Man, you just can't. And the work rate he puts in the ring, the promo intensity. I mean, he's got watches like, if you could see my watch, he's like, this watch costs more than your whole house, pal. Like, you cannot beat the style and everything that he did and the workhorse he was. So Ric Flair is number 2 for me.
So on my impact on wrestling, Mount Rushmore, he's on there. I mean, he's got rappers rapping about him.
Oh, he's pop culture for sure.
Yeah,
Ric Flair is actually one of my honorable mentions, because he was. I was really debating on, man, can I put Ric Flair on like my Mount Rushmore, right? I didn't really, I personally didn't see. I seen a ton of Hogan and I seen a ton of Austin. I didn't really see a ton of Ric Flair. I seen a little bit at WCW. That '92 Royal Rumble. I remember the '92 Royal Rumble when he came in,
when he won the title.
Yeah, and that was like my first like real exposure to Ric Flair. Because like at that time WCW, like Sting and Vader, like those are like my guys. In WCW, and Ric Flair wasn't really like a huge thing because he was like in a limbo. But I can't knock Ric Flair being on the Mount Rushmore, not at all.
He had a couple of good matches with Vader in WCW. For the title.
For sure.
The old school, like 93 Slamboree, I believe, and Spring Stampede, he had a match. So your number 3 was Ric Flair, Matt?
Oh, I mean, I didn't have it in any particular order, but he made my impact on wrestling Mount Rushmore.
Okay. So Alexis, who's your third?
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I was
You-
my cousin here. All right. So I don't think you can have a Mount Rushmore, and this is probably my favorite superstar of all time, the Macho Man,
Yeah,
Randy
brother.
Savage.
Okay.
Ooh. Now this is the Macho King. I personally don't think you can tell the story of wrestling without the Macho Man. And me and Travis talk about this all the time. He
Yeah, we do.
knows I'm a huge Macho Man mark. When I think larger than life, I think Macho Man. The guy's 5'11", not even 6 foot tall. Okay, and this guy was going head to head with Hogan during Hogan's heyday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this guy has told probably the best cumulative stories in wrestling history. I mean, first, the greatest love story of all time,
Yep.
Miss Elizabeth and Randy Savage. Okay, introduced the woman manager to wrestling because that was unheard of when he brought out Miss Elizabeth, and then went to
Sherry Martel.
And then went to Sensational Sherry when he became the Macho King as a heel. Another one of those guys where great as a heel, great as a face, and then I talk with Lucky about this all the time. Arguably the best storyline of all time, the mega powers coming together, and then the mega powers splitting.
Yep.
I personally think that that's probably the greatest story in wrestling history. Two of the biggest guys in wrestling coming together, and then Elizabeth getting in between, and it was something that happens in real life. So, Macho Man, the Macho King, Mr. Slim Jim, ooh yeah, on my Mount Rushmore, 100%.
You know what's funny is he's always been one of my favorites, but yeah, I've never I can't put him on my Mount Rushmore, but he's always been one of my favorites for sure. I love watching his match. When I was a kid, I remember it was like a breakfast with Santa thing, right? And they took us, and you could pick a toy after you eat your pancakes with Santa and all that. And they had a Macho Man like dress up kit, like you tie the things around your arms with the thing. I picked that. I was like,
those costumes, dude, were like out of this world. Those costumes. I know everybody talks about Ric Flair's robes, but Macho Man's costumes with the cowboy hat. The colors.
Yeah.
The flares. And then, Pomp and Circumstance was his freaking music.
The graduation theme.
The graduation theme is music. Dude, awesome.
Yeah. So I got to pick a number 3. I don't know who I want to say for last, but I'm going to go for my third, Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
Mr. WrestleMania.
He actually makes my personal Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. He's done everything. Like first, I talked to you about this at work, Alexis, but first Iron Man match at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. The Boy Wonder wins it all, right? Then the first Hell in a Cell match against Undertaker. He was in the first Elimination Chamber match.
He won the first Elimination Chamber match.
He helped form one of the most influential groups of all time, D-Generation X. He was
in the first ladder match in WWE?
Not the first ladder match, but the first like televised
ladder match
against Razor.
Against Razor Ramon. Yeah. And I don't think, by the way, their second match of the ladder match at SummerSlam wasn't as good as the Mania one, but it's still Shawn Michaels puts the work in. And he deserves to be on there for me, for sure. He's number 3. So,
yeah, I have no complaints there at all.
I got him 1 on my personal.
Number 1?
Number 1.
Okay. Mine's not in order, but I don't know. What, I can't pick between mine 1 through 4. I just saying them. So, who's your fourth?
Go ahead, MVP.
On impact on wrestling, my last guy would be The Rock.
He's definitely he's my honorable mention. I wanted to put him on my Mount Rushmore because he's one of my personal favorites. The Rock, but I can't. Anybody who wants to put him up there, I couldn't disagree with him for sure.
I definitely see him on your Impact Mount Rushmore.
Absolutely.
But for me, again, if I'm, how I'm very segregated with like workhorse, entertaining.
Yeah.
If you're going my entertainment Mount Rushmore, you got Austin, you got The Rock.
For sure.
He's not on my personal one though, but I love The Rock. Dude.
You don't like how he does the sharpshooter, huh?
No, I actually love how he does the sharpshooter. What's funny is I was in one of my jobs I had many years ago. I was walking. I was talking to a guy about wrestling, and I was walking. He's like, "Your favorite wrestler is The Rock, isn't it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I love The Rock." Why? And he's
Just
like,
the way you
"It's
walk.
the way you walk, brother. Like I see The Rock stride in you." I'm like, "Okay, but yeah, The Rock." So, who is your fourth, Alexis?
Go ahead, Lucky. You can give me your fourth.
The Undertaker.
So on Impact, I actually had him as like an honorable mention.
An honorable. Well, you can see like biggest streak in WrestleMania history, obviously, and like the matches he's had, like, and my wife will agree with me, right? She's next to me now. He's just the best. she's
No, but all right, if you just look at what he's done since he's retired, how many interviews he's had, everybody wants him on their podcast. How many shows he's done. You can't tell me that his impact wasn't big.
Yeah, no, but the locker room leader he is.
Yeah,
like he was you talking about gatekeepers, right? Like we talked about, he's the ultimate. Like if he says you're cool, you're cool. Everyone lets you in. Like it was all on him. So
he let Maven eliminate him in the Rumble with the drop kick.
I love the Cody Rhodes story when Cody said he came into the Royal Rumble and he didn't know what to do, so he just forearm smashes Undertaker, and then Undertaker like has the hair in his face. He's like, kick me, like knock me down. He's like, wait, what? Like I thought Undertaker was gonna beat me up, but yeah, he loves to give rub to the other guy. So, but that would be my Mount Rushmore to round it out. Undertaker in there.
Yeah, I was going back and forth because it's like I love The Rock, and I'm thinking about Taker, and you know what? I've never been like a huge Taker fan, but it's hard to deny that man to not be on the Mount Rushmore, and he made my Mount Rushmore, and the reason why is because we've seen so many iterations of the Undertaker. We've seen the Dead Man, and then we've seen Big Evil with the Kid Rock music, Corporation Undertaker, you know what I mean? And I was just thinking about the matches that, like, when I seen the casket match between him and Kamala, you know what I mean? Like, I was legit, like, afraid of the Undertaker. Like, probably those vignettes when he was, like, sanding the caskets down and stuff like that in his funeral parlor. I had to put him up there. I got a couple honorable mentions that I want to talk about, but I mean, I couldn't leave Taker off of there. His matches, his match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, both of them were great. That Boneyard match from a few years ago.
So, go
ahead, MVP.
For my personal, I actually have so Shawn Michaels, The Rock made my personal. I also have John Cena.
I see it.
I mean, take away the stuff he's done. I'm actually a big John Cena fan.
For sure, John Cena definitely be up there. For sure.
You got the spinner belt still, don't you?
Oh yeah, I got the spinner belt.
You can't knock that. You can't knock that.
And I don't know if you guys saw. I saw Fast 10 on Friday.
How was it?
Oh, dude.
Good.
Brother, it's one of those I'm gonna watch it when it comes out on Paramount Plus.
You got, It was good. It actually had me on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Is time travel in this one or what?
I mean they do flashbacks, but
I wanted to give an honorable mention. I don't think I can. This guy was between him and Taker on my Mount Rushmore, and it's Viva la Raza, Eddie Guerrero.
No, he rounds out my personal Mount Rushmore.
Like, I mean, Eddie Guerrero from ECW to WCW to WWE. I mean, this guy was again 5'8", 5'9", just larger than life, dude.
Well, all right. So he's in ECW where everyone wants blood and guts, and then him and Dean Malenko just put on a technical classic, and everybody loves it in
Yep,
ECW.
yep, yeah. Eddie Guerrero, man, and just like his work with Mamacita, China. You know what I mean? I mean, the
Yep.
LWO
Yep.
isn't the LWO.
Oh no, there's no
Eddie Guerrero.
LWO with Eddie Guerrero.
You know what I mean? There's no LWO without Eddie Guerrero. So he's definitely on my honorable mention, man. R.I.P. Eddie. R.I.P. my dad. That was my dad's favorite was Eddie Guerrero. He freaking loved Eddie Guerrero, dude. And it's just
What's your
it's hard.
favorite Eddie Guerrero match?
My favorite Eddie Guerrero match was probably his title match with Brock Lesnar.
Really? Okay.
That build up, I think the build up. I don't know if you guys can look. I think it was a SmackDown. It's like Eddie kind of like pours his heart out on why he deserves that title, and I think I love his match with Brock, and then I also love the match with Eddie Guerrero at Halloween Havoc.
That's
with Ray, yeah.
With
That's
Ray,
my favorite.
with Ray, that was another one of my favorite Eddies. But man, that's the frog splash. The frog splash that's Eddie's move.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure we throw him out there.
Technically art bar,
Yeah,
but Eddie made it famous.
for sure,
Yeah.
sure.
We're talking about Dominic Mysterio's real dad here, so
Real daddy. I mean,
All
we're
right.
talking about
Now,
that.
another an underrated match for him that I thought that I like is him and Ray at WrestleMania. Was it 21?
21.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
WrestleMania
didn't Ray win the World Heavyweight Championship at 21?
No. This was 22 in Chicago.
That was in Chi-Town.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, there's a couple of guys that my favorites that we couldn't talk about, like Bret Hart was one of my favorites. The Pink and
Dude,
Black
you get us
Attack.
talking. We'll have like a 3-hour podcast
I
here.
know. It's just there's so many guys, dude. But it's like Mount Rushmore's only 4 guys, so I mean, you can't put everybody up there.
Controversially, one of my honorable mentions for personal, I have down Chris Benoit.
Okay.
No, we got to say Crispin Waugh is your name, so we don't get banned here. But no,
Yeah, Chris Benoit was a beast, man.
No, he technically sound like the best technical wrestler ever. I feel.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, Chris Benoit, if I'm having let me give one honorable mention. I would go that I didn't do already. Maybe Roman Reigns or what? I'm just kidding.
He'll get there. He'll get there.
I would do Rey Mysterio, honestly.
Okay.
He's done a lot for wrestling. The
Yes.
longevity too. He's still going, like still flying off ropes and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. He's like 50 years old.
Yeah, him and Y2J, him and Jericho.
Jericho has been looking flabby lately.
Yeah,
I don't watch AEW.
he's been at it for a long time too.
Yeah,
He's been at it for a long
He's
time.
been skipping his DDP yoga.
So, okay, we got the pay-per-view game. It's Alexa's
All right,
first time playing it. So, I'm going to do it a little different. I'm going to say the first match, and then I'll let you guys take a couple, you guys try to guess. If I give you the whole match card, you're going to, especially if I give you the main event, you're going to know.
Okay.
We'll go match by match. You kind of tell me what you're thinking, guess a year, whatever. So I'll start the stopwatch after I say the first title. We'll get a minute and a half. All right. Okay. You guys ready?
Ready.
The U.S. title match, Santino Marella versus The Miz.
Give us another one.
I'm thinking 08.
Falls Count Anywhere, Randy Orton versus Kane.
Oh.
And this is pay-per-view?
Yep.
Okay, next.
Brodus Clay beats Dolph Ziggler.
Okay, it's not 08. This is
not 08.
This is like 20. This is 2010s.
2010, 2011, around there.
The IC title tables match: Cody Rhodes versus The Big Show.
No, is this the masked Cody Rhodes?
I believe so. Yeah, he was IC champion.
Okay.
2 out of 3 falls match. World Heavyweight Champion Sheamus beats Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
WWE Championship Street Fight. CM Punk beats Chris Jericho.
Okay.
This is
Divas title. Layla beats Nikki Bella.
Backlash 2011.
Nope.
2012.
You want to guess or you want another main event?
Let's hear the main event.
John Cena beats Brock Lesnar.
Extreme Rules 2012.
This is correct.
Extreme Rules. That's when I heard tables match. I was
And
like,
you
this
had
gotta
it
be
right
Extreme
at a
Rules.
minute and a half. Right at the cutoff.
MVP, you killed it on that, dude. I thought Extreme Rules, but I couldn't guess the year.
This was after Mania where he lost to The Rock.
Yes.
And everything was going down, and Brock Lesnar was just whooping him, and he just pulled it out of his butt last second.
Yeah, because if I would have told you the main event, it was John Cena versus Brock Lesnar in an Extreme Rules match. You'd be like, oh, Extreme Rules.
Right.
2012.
Yeah, when I heard the falls count anywhere in the tables, of like, this sounds like an Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
Yeah, because of all the stereotype matches and all that.
But I couldn't put my finger at it because Randy Orton Kane. I'm like,
Yeah, because when I read this, I'm like, when did they have a feud? But okay, whatever. But yeah, no, that was good. What do you think of the first episode there, Alexis?
Dude, I'm loving it, man. This is fun. You know, you've been asking me to get on a podcast for a while, I think, with the breaks. I didn't jump in on that, but this is kind of something that I'm passionate about, and wrestling. It seems like you guys are too. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see where this goes for sure.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And then
MVP,
I think
pleasure to meet you, man. Pleasure to meet you, dude. Looking forward to more in the future for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think we'll do like the recaps, maybe a little shorter because the recaps take a long time. So we'll just like maybe go over your notes, my notes, and then we can do other stuff for people that have. I mean, if you already watch Raw and SmackDown and you're like, okay, this is kind of, I know what happens. We'll do other stuff like Mount Rushmore talk or more games, like maybe guess the wrestler, or guess the pay-per-view. We'll do some crazy stuff on here. So, but it's only the second episode. We got bigger things coming. Again, subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Because we also have the Sports Card podcast. We have a sports podcast and a sports betting podcast is on its way. And then, yeah, make sure you just show us some love in the comments, whatever you want to see us do, or you don't like the way our face looks, whatever it is, let us know what it is in the comments. So, you guys got anything else?
No, I'm good.
Gemmin 10 Sports. Subscribe. Until next week, gentlemen.
All right, then. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Bye.